What's up, guys? This is Kevin Lindsay from the Opinionated Geeks. We are back after taking Memorial Day week. We used a week because we like holidays. We took it off, but we are back. We're fixing to get geeky. Let's get started. We are here with the Tommy Holiday.
Hi, I'm Tommy, and I'm white.
We are here with the Tim Brownlee.
Hi, I'm Tim, and Tommy is
Stupid.
a word
White.
I can't say for lack of political correctness.
White.
And we are
Privileged.
here with the Flash himself, Joshua Socket.
Hey.
What are you reading there, Josh?
The New 52, The Flash, Volume 1, Move Forward.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Bit old, but it's still one of my
So-
favorites.
So speaking of comics, let's talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. Retro gaming.
Woohoo!
Reg. Woohoo! Yeah.
That was totally related, right?
Kind of.
No,
And
not really. Not really.
it is what it is, man. So yeah, we this is like 2 weeks in the making, where we talked about retro gaming, deciding what we liked and what we grew up on and whatnot. And I just gotta say, the person who goes last, it hurts my heart what he considers a retro game and retro console. So I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna let Tommy be the
Well,
one.
Well, in all fairness, he's probably the only one out of all four of us that hasn't really grown up at all, really. So yeah,
Tim, you're
we talked
grown up?
about growing up with games. He hasn't really gotten there yet. Look,
Can I-
age wise, yes, age wise, and economic wise. Look, I pay rent. I have bills. I have a family, so I have to adult every now and then. So yes, I would technically, with clenched teeth, call myself a grown up.
Can I just say something right quick? I do not believe this is retro in the greater scale of things. I believe this is kind of classic for me due to my young age, but the term retro is not applied to what I would be talking about in the grand scale of things.
I have T-shirts older than you, Tommy.
Yeah, yeah.
So do I.
And the gaming consoles that we're going to be talking about, most of them are older than you, Tommy.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone that we're talking about is older than Tommy.
Wait a second,
How
Tommy.
is this?
Okay. Just for the sake of our audience, how old are you, Tommy? What year were you born?
I turned 19 last year. Not last year, last month.
Oh.
I don't know how to count. I turned 19 last month.
What year were you born, Tommy?
1998, my friend. But let me ask
Oh
you a
God!
question. How
Oh,
is that
God.
my fault? I wasn't there for my conception.
Look,
I mean,
Tommy.
I was, but I was more like a twinkle. But I wasn't there.
Oh God, Tommy. The last thing I want to think about is your conception. The point is, you're young. We are older. Most of these gaming consoles are older than you. Oh God!
Every
God! Oh,
every
get it out!
every gaming console that us three, that me, Tim, and Josh are talking about, released before Tommy was born.
I'm gonna
I
go
know
scribble out
for
my
a
birth
fact.
year. I'm gonna take my birth
And think
certificate
about this,
and scribble
there's
out my
only-
year.
There's only
Oh,
one
God.
that was released before the other three of us were born.
Yeah, because the NES was actually released the year before I was born,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Same
think
here.
I'm the
I got all
old, and
your
I think I'm the oldest one in this group, if I'm not mistaken.
Only by a few months.
Exactly, but still, the oldest one in the group. That's all I needed to know.
Hey,
I was born in
technically,
90, so
technically, Kevin's only older than me by a few months. Technically,
By like more than 24 months, more like
yeah,
150
but
months.
in all technicality, it's only months that separate us.
But how
Tommy,
many
Anyway,
your
months?
existence is a
let's-
technicality, Tommy.
let's move on because I'm losing brain cells from Tommy saying months because I'm 8 years older than him. So that's a lot
You
of months.
lost both.
You
Tommy.
are
Wait,
seven.
you lost
You are-
both
you
of
are.
them. You lost both of them, Kevin.
Both of them.
Both brain cells.
I forgot
Shut
how
up.
to count.
All right. So anyway, let's get started tonight. Retro gaming. I'll start it off because I have the oldest console. The and it's like the thing that I bought is sitting right over here, and I'm just looking at it. This is me, okay? So sitting in my dad's lap, playing Super Mario Brothers that had Mario and Duck Hunt on the
Oh,
cartridge, and then
game.
dying so many times because I was 4 years old. Although I will say I could make it to like level 3 at 4 years old. But anyway,
We were rage quitting even before it was cool.
rage quitting, taking that cartridge out, my dad bringing home. I remember this. This is like one of my early memories. My dad bringing home a game. The heck are you doing, Tim?
I'm blowing into the cartridge.
Oh, my dad um bringing home a game called The Legend of Zelda,
Oh.
and sticking it in,
That's what
going
she said.
inside the cave, and here, take this, and not having a clue what the crap I was supposed to do because I was 4 or 5 years old. So I always went around killing stuff. Like that's literally what I would do. And
That's all we ever did.
I've never beaten the original Zelda ever.
None of us have.
But
we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
yeah, like there was no YouTube. So anyway, but that console, I love it. I bought it for my daughter for her birthday. Josh has the little figure.
8-bit Link over there. I love it.
What I love about this is you can use this with the new Breath of the Wild, and you can get the original. You can get the hero tunic and all that. But not only that, you get a special weapon using that with the Breath of the Wild that is simply referred to as sword. It is the sword you get when you go in the cave and they say, "Here, it's dangerous to go alone."
Oh,
You can get that sword in the game.
that is beautiful.
That is amazing.
It took me a while because the first time it showed up, I was going, "Sword? What the hell?" I didn't really look at it. Then I read the description of it, and it goes, "That it's dangerous to go alone without this." I'm sitting there going, "Oh, it's that sword."
It's the original NES.
Yes.
But yeah, just looking at some of the things because I went and reading up and I've got them on my phone. Just some cool things about the NES. It was released in '83. I thought it was released a little bit later than that. So it had been around for like 10 years before I started playing it. But the longevity of the NES was absolutely crazy. The retail availability on an NES. Check this out. 2003.
That was the year. That was the year I graduated high school.
That console lasted 20 years. They discontinued it in '95, and in Japan is actually where it was discontinued. September 25th, 2003. It sold 61.91 million units worldwide. In America, it sold 34 million units. Just so awesome. Super Mario Brothers came with it. In some of the boxes it came with it, it's packed in. But as of 1999, it had sold over 40 million copies.
That is incredible.
Of Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario 3 sold 18 million as of July the 27th, 2008. Many people still consider Super Mario 3 the best video game ever made. Super Mario Brothers 2, which was actually just basically a ripoff of was it Doki Doki Panic in Japan. It sold 10 million copies, and it had nothing to do. It was completely different from Super Mario 1 to then 3. It sold 10 million copies. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. To me, it set the bar. for what gaming was and what gaming is today. I honestly think it's the best one. You had so many games though, so many good games that come away from that system. Mega Man, think about Mega Man, all those that were so good. I still love to play Mega Man. You had, of course, Mario. You had Castlevania, Zelda. I mean, there's just so many. Ninja Turtles. I love playing that one. I have a love-hate relationship with the Ninja Turtles game. The
Yes, that
freaking
game was
jump.
so terrible. Oh my god, that was awful.
Oh
I
God,
love.
the jump.
Another game you rage quit.
Yes, and
I
the
rage
the
quit that game so
water,
many times.
the water. If I could, God, if you lose a turtle, if you lose Donatello, God help you,
You're done.
because if you
No,
lose
any
Donatello, you're done.
actually let's just backtrack a little bit. Any water level in the NES, like probably one of my favorite memes, and it's so illustrative of the frustration you have with water levels. Like when you want to take your relationship to the next level, but it's a water level. Oh, any water level, Mario's
Like
water level, like 2-2. 2-2 before you
I
go to the
love
flying.
that level.
I hated that level. Oh my god, I did that was the oh Jesus Christ, I hated that level with a
I see.
passion.
I love the Mario
I
level.
hate
The
underwater
water was
levels in
awesome.
any NES game. They've been nightmarish.
But yeah, I mean, there was just so many iconic games in the console. Even one of the things is, even whenever the Super Nintendo came out, the NES was still pushing the limits, and they were pushing that processor to its absolute limits. I mean, there were some beautiful games. The music. I've actually just listened to the Mega Man soundtrack because it is just awesome. The Mega Man soundtracks are absolutely awesome. So Mario, people, and just a quick rant, people crap on Nintendo, even right now with the Switch, but Nintendo has Nintendo has their thing, and they stick with it, and they sell consoles and they sell games, because it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what games you like. I love The Last of Us, I love 2K, I love all these games, but let me tell you something. If there's a Mario game that comes out, I want to play it.
You're
Like, I
right.
don't care if it's the new. I'm seriously this close to buying a Switch this winter because of the new Mario game that's coming out.
Yes, and I
Straight
could.
up.
And to be honest, Nintendo has done something. What part of the reason why the NES has lasted 20 years is because people played the ever loving crap out of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Played the ever loving crap out of it.
Joshua has the Switch. Like,
Yep.
Hmm. How is that, by
we-
the way, Josh? You want to give us a few
I like it. I mean,
comments about
I only have Mario Kart and Zelda for it, but
like staple Nintendo games, right?
exactly. I mean,
What's kept Nintendo going for over 30 years now?
exactly. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, I've put in a lot of hours into Zelda, and I've just on the back burner right now because I have not finished it. I mean, all I have left is to go beat Ganon, but I want to get all the side missions done before I do and get all the shrines defeated. But it's Zelda. I love Zelda.
Who doesn't? It's great.
so yeah, I mean, it's just like people make fun of Nintendo for being a kiddie game, but I guarantee you a 40, 50-year-old man that played a Nintendo will see the Mario game come out and they'll be like, I might want to play that. Like, and
I,
it's
I can
go ahead.
chime in on that. My dad has a Switch, and he plays Mario Kart with me, my brother, and my nephews.
See, it's just infectious. Like, I can remember, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about Tim's thing. I think is what he's talking about. But with the 64, the Nintendo 64, I can remember my mom hated video games, like kinda. but she would play Mario Kart, and so would my stepdad, my dad. They would all play Mario Kart. Like so that
I
was
lost so much
you
of
know,
my life to the N64. So
so
much.
good.
So
But
many years I will never get back, and I have no regrets for
Super
it.
Smash Brothers, baby.
Star Fox 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Perfect Dark, Golden Eye.
Ocarina of
Golden
Time.
Eye. Yes.
I lost
I never
so
played
many
Ocarina of Time.
hours. So many hours to Ocarina of Time was wasted.
You know what? You know what game I lost because I had my stint with the N64 back in the day, and then a few years ago I
Back
did
in
it
the
as
day,
well.
that was like 3 days ago, right, Tommy?
Aha! Aha! But and then about 2-3 years ago, I had an N64 again, and the one game that never left it. This is probably going to show my age, but I don't care. We've already established how young I am, and I hate you all. Pokemon Snap.
I have that.
Pokemon Snap
Oh.
entertained.
Yes, I have that game, actually. It's in my
It
bedroom.
entertained me for quite some time.
Yeah, that was finding all the Pokemon and like getting good pictures of them. That was cool.
Mhm.
That was that could have spurred my being a photographer right there. That could have put it in my head. I'm a photographer now. That could put it in my head. But yeah,
I'm
I mean,
pretty
just,
good at taking pictures.
like look at that Pikachu. Look at that. I took a dang good picture of that Pikachu. But yeah, just I know I kind of got veered off from the NES, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about Nintendo. Uh, it all started with the NES. There's Pokemon Snap.
That's beautiful.
Tim's got it. But yeah, it all started with the NES with those millions and millions of copies sold.
Still a favorite.
Yeah, all due respect to Atari. Atari was just super, super, super limited. There's some
Wait.
cool games on it, but Nintendo was like the Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan took wrestling worldwide. NES completely blew the roof off the thing.
Speaking of wrestling, one of my favorite N64 games, JC will agree with me, WWF No Mercy.
Oh yeah.
I was a WCW NWO Revenge guy.
I had the WCW Nitro NWO versus WCW versus NWO game. Played the heck out of it. It was great, but nothing beats No Mercy. It's still the best wrestling game ever made. Hands down.
So anyway,
love it.
Let's go with Josh. Let's let him speak and let him.
My turn.
Yeah, your turn, Josh.
How to put the switch down. So I'm talking about this.
Ooh.
The Super Nintendo.
Super Mario World?
My heart.
Yeah, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the one me and my brother got when we were young. Had been sitting over at my brother's house for many years, and like up in his attic. I mean, it's dusty because it never got played after we got other things. But yeah, same one. Still have some of the games over by my TV.
I'm getting a Super Nintendo. I've got to get one.
But I don't want to say anything about the regular Nintendo. Is I know where my regular Nintendo is at. When we got this, we ended up giving our regular Nintendo to my cousin, Ryan. And he still has it to this day.
Good guy.
With all of our original games. And his favorite game, when he was much younger, was like Psych Bike.
Oh,
he would play.
Wow.
He would drive around in the car, and when it got overheated and had to pull off to the side, he was pulling off to the side so he could get gas and refuel. But no, that was his favorite game, and like I said, he still has it at his house. And when I go to visit him and his family out in Texas every now and then, I'll get nostalgia and I'll go in and I'll play his now NES.
Just if anyone is curious about purchasing a Super Nintendo, getting all that nostalgic, I did a quick search on Amazon. One is being sold $49.99 with a Prime membership.
Not bad.
I want that. I want it. I want some pretzels.
But does anyone know when the Super Nintendo came out?
92.
92.
Close.
I'm gonna guess 93. 93.
1990.
Whoa.
Tim, when's your birthday?
August 24th, 1984.
This came out in North America. This came out the day before your birthday.
What?
August 23rd, 1991 is when
Wow.
Super Nintendo was released.
My
Here-
last day as a 5-year-old.
It had been
Actually, no, my last day as a 6-year-old. I turned 7 in 91. Sorry, I don't do math.
Of course we know that. But no, it came out in Japan in 1990.
That is incredible.
And
The
then,
Japanese always get stuff earlier
of
than
course,
us.
I mean, that's when,
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones who make-
Nintendo's only a Japanese company.
I
Right.
know. So, this thing stayed around until same time that the regular Nintendo went out, and was in 2003.
Yeah.
Is when the Super Nintendo was last available in Japan, September 25th, 2003. America was in 1999, so another 4 years it stayed around over in Japan. But when it's a Japanese company, so of course they're going to keep it around. Now of course, we had Donkey Kong Country out on it, Super Mario World, Street Fighter 2, and of course, is everyone's favorite. And what I have on my Switch right now, Mario Kart.
That was the first Mario Kart.
Mhm.
Yep. And
Back
it was so tough to play too.
Of course,
So
because you only.
tough.
It's also back then. The other race you would go against only like the Koopa had the green turtle shells. Certain ones
And
only.
the jumps were so basic. Like they were
Mhm.
so basic. Like whenever they released that for the N64, I remember my cousins telling me that one of the coolest things about it was the jumps were just so like way out there. You could get launched.
But also, you
And
had
on this one is
all the objects that you could get in the game, like the little power-ups. There was limited number on each
Mhm.
course,
Yep.
which made it
I
so much
remember
fun.
that.
So you'd be going around if you had someone playing against you, and you're unlucky to get all the crappy ones. Once they're all gone, that's
They're
it.
all gone.
You got to be good at racing at that point. Of course,
My
I wasn't. My brother
my
always.
sister and I. My sister and I. That's if I don't know if you saw, but whenever he said Donkey Kong Country, I started flailing my arms like a wacky inflatable, wacky waving inflatable arm. Too mad.
Flailing too, man.
Hey, yeah, Bailey buddy. I started flailing my arms because I was thinking, when he's mentioned the Super Nintendo, I was thinking I had one. I knew I had one, but I can't remember what game my sister and I used to always play, and it was Donkey Kong Country. One of us would play as Donkey. One of us would play as Diddy. We called Diddy Kong Key. I don't know why we called him Key, but we called him Key. So one of us would be Donkey, one of us would be Diddy, and I always wanted to be Diddy because Diddy was much better than Donkey.
So I always got being. I always had to be Diddy. Also, always had to be Luigi.
There's
Why?
a penalty.
I like
You were the
Luigi
younger
better.
brother.
Exactly.
I was
The
always
youngest-
Mario. My brother always had to be Luigi. It was younger,
That's-
older sibling dominance. You get first dibs
Yeah.
on Mario. You get first dibs on Donkey, and you're
Mhm.
always player one. Always.
Diddy and Luigi are better
Wonderful.
than Mario and Donkey.
Yep.
Uh,
Luigi can jump higher, and
Uh,
Diddy is quicker.
Luigi can jump higher. That is true.
that's
But
about
not
it.
in the original Mario. Not in the original. They jumped the same height. They were just as pathetic.
27 feet. In the bit to inches radio, or the block to feet ratio, or whatever it is, it's 27 feet.
But units sold.
Mm.
This console, this retro console that is older than Tommy, sold 49.1 million units.
It's incredible.
In North America alone, in North and South America, it sold 23 million units. Japan, 17 million units.
That's crazy.
Love this game.
That's crazy.
Love this console. If only I could get mine working, I would have it hooked to my TV and I would be playing it.
So what was your favorite game on the Super Nintendo?
Oh, had to be Mario Kart. It was one of the few games I was really good at. Aside from Super Mario World, where we get Yoshi for the first time.
How many people here have ditched Yoshi to save their life?
Me.
Numerous times. It was always the green.
I love. He's like you. It's like you do it, and it's like, sorry, buddy.
I don't know. No,
This is one critic that I've always had about Super Mario World, and Super Mario 3 is my favorite game probably of all time.
Yeah.
Just because of just how good. But it's a close second. My only critic is Super Mario World is widely regarded as too easy.
It's very
because
easy.
I could rack up one-ups like crazy.
You could play worlds like over and over and over again and just go ahead and just stock up and then just breeze through the game. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you could almost do the same if you knew how to do it with the original Mario. I think it was World 3-2. You get that Koopa coming down the steps, and if you knew how to do it right, you could just rack them up. Do. That's the only way I could beat the game all the way through. The only way I could do it.
Stairs.
Huh?
You put him against the stairs and just
jump on it. I mean, like you could do that for days. Just rack them up till you finally get bored. And that's the only way I could beat the game playing every single level all the way through is with that many number of lives because I couldn't do it otherwise because I wasted so many lives.
Now, for us old enough, how mad does it make you to see these kids, Tommy's age now, do those speed runs through our childhood games?
It doesn't make me mad.
It doesn't make me mad.
It's impressive.
It really is, and it's not only impressive, but it's just, I mean, we started out with it. They just get better at it, and I mean that to me, that's like. It's nice to see them actually not only playing these games, but actually being really, really good at it. So it doesn't make me mad at all. I love it because it keeps these games relevant. It's a tribute to just how much these games mean to the entire franchise, just to everything. Gaming started with these things. So yeah,
one thing that I was able to do actually last Saturday night. I've got it's the thing you can put a Sega console or Sega cartridge, Super Nintendo cartridge, and Nintendo cartridge in, and then I have the one Nintendo cartridge that's got like over 100 NES games on it because technology is advanced and they can put all these games on it. And I played the original Super Mario, and I beat the game in like 12 or 13 minutes. Went to the hard. Because it's like, oh, there's a new quest, and after you beat the game, and I beat it in like 15 minutes, and I only died like 4 times between the two. I was literally sweating, like my hands were sweating because I've never done that. I never beat the hard quest, and my child was sitting here watching me. And she's like, is it what I was doing? And Rachel's like, have you ever done this? I'm like, no, I've never done this. And I'm by no means saying I speed ran it because I went through and got, through the warp worlds. So I did cheat technically on that.
Well, no, that's with the speed runs, they go through the warp worlds.
They have to go through the warp worlds through the speed runs, but what would really impress me is someone could actually go through every single level and do it, but it doesn't bother me either way because the warp worlds are there. It's perfectly legal. It just, yeah.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Tom.
Just a little thing as we started talking about the NES again and all that. A Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition on Amazon with Prime is about $230.99.
Worth it.
And that shows.
That is, but the problem with that is Josh. They have discontinued that altogether. So those prices will continue to go up because price gouging. it
Right.
got
Yep.
discontinued
It's a classic. It's like buying a
because of
67
this.
Mustang. Yeah, it's a classic.
No,
Of course they're gonna.
what he's talking about is probably the little console that they came out with
It
before
is.
the Switch
Mm-hmm.
that had all the games preloaded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
30 games.
I was when they first released. I was trying to get one, or my dad Keith wanted me to try and get one. Sold out, and they remained sold out until Nintendo goes, yeah, we're gonna discontinue it, and here's the Switch.
Yeah, like, and that was a thing. In my opinion, Nintendo knew they weren't going to get the Switch out before Christmas, so they done the NES Classic, and one of them. And I'm not. People are mad about that. Like, oh, why would you just discontinue? Don't be mad. Like, you
They're
can
gonna bring it
go
back.
get. Well, no, they're going to bring back the SNES is what they're going to do, and they're going to
Yep.
sell another bazillion of them, and they're going to discontinue them. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Oh,
As
we lost
Tommy
Tommy.
leaves us. As Tommy leaves us. Goodbye, Tommy. It's probably because he was getting intimidated because we were so old. So,
Yeah.
Tim, I'm going to let you go ahead and take us off to the third.
Oh. So I'm going to talk about another game that I lost many, many, many months of my life to, even years. On this particular console, the Sega Genesis.
Sega!
So wonderful. Sega!
That's right here.
Love it. Yes, it's wonderful. So wonderful. I had such. I got to the last boss on Sonic 2, and I could never beat him. I could never do it, and it's honestly one of those things. Like, when I'm on my deathbed, someone asked me what I would regret out of life. I could never beat Dr. Robotnik in Sonic 2. Right before I close my eyes and leave this world, that'd probably be the one regret I would have. It still frustrates me to this day. And if I can get a hold of a Sega Genesis and Sonic 2, I would not stop until I could beat that game. It drove me mad. And another game on that, and I will honor anyone. I will give props to anyone who can remember this game. James Pond. Yes, there it is right there. It's beautiful. James Pond 3. I can't remember the subtitle of it. That was another game that was a lot of fun to play. It did not have the timelessness of the games that we had before. It's very obscure. I'd be highly surprised if anybody who listens to this podcast really knows what it is, but I love that game. And if I ever got a Sega Genesis, I would track that game down, buy it, and just play the crap out of it. Another game on the Sega Genesis I really, really enjoyed, Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. If anyone knows the comics with Carnage, just psycho killer, who was a symbiote like Venom, just broke out of prison, got all these different villains, and your only hope is to get all these like obscure Cloak and Dagger, like I can't remember all of the names. I know Cloak and Dagger off the top of my head, but all these like obscure Marvel superheroes just joined up, and you could really call on them and do all sorts of stuff. But that's another game I could never get a hold of and actually beat because it was just so tough. And I think the only knock you really had on the Genesis, like these games were so freaking tough, you could never beat them. And if and I know this was also on the NES as well. Aladdin and Lion King. This is where Disney started bringing out video games of their movies. Lion King on the Sega Genesis, on the NES. Oh my God! Oh God, I wanted to rip my hair out playing these games. Like just crazy. But what are your memories of it, guys?
I have none. I
Of
have
course,
none.
as you see,
Sit down, whippersnapper.
I've got your Sonic 2.
That's wonderful. I miss it. Can I
why
have
not?
it?
I mean, if you come up one weekend and hang out with me and the cripple, we can all play.
Dude, I will leave Lauren right now, high and dry, and just move back in if I could play that game again.
Tim, I have it.
I know.
I have the console.
Is it still work? And it still works.
If I get a power cable, yeah. When you moving?
Okay. Tomorrow. Give me time to pack.
Okay. But, again, much like this game, I mean, much like on the Super Nintendo and every other game, maybe being with a few multiplayer games that you can play at the same time. I was Tails when my brother was Sonic.
Yep. Of course.
Bad
Of
part
course.
about this game is if the player one got too far ahead,
you get left behind in the
player
dust.
two died.
And what was really cool was and here's what I love most about it. Brandon, of course, played Tails. And if there was a certain part in that game that I wasn't sure about, I'd send him ahead and he can die because he can always come back.
Tails
was the sacrificial lamb.
The one level I hated most of all was the casino level on that game.
That was my favorite.
I would always get stuck down below somewhere and couldn't get away. Could I just get
the level I hated the most was the Mystic Cave. I hated that one. It was just infuriated me.
But aside from this game, I've got a baseball game you probably would like, Tim.
Oh yeah, I like any baseball game.
Let's see. Let me go find it. Let's see what it is.
Do you have any memories of it, Kevin, while JC's walking away?
Fun fact:
sorry.
I never at all owned a Sega product in my entire life.
Oof.
I never
The only one.
I never played like any of the Sega games. I know this is almost blasphemy. The only Sega game I played was my cousin. Before my uncle and them moved to Texas, they had a Sega Genesis, and I played Sonic. And you know, at the end, don't you have to spin the sign?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there's a sign at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to spin it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know to spin that sign. Like, I had no idea to spin that sign. And I would get stuck. And I was like, screw this. And I just threw the controller down. Like, and then my cousin, because he was evil, the sign. And he'd be like, oh, I got you on the next level. And I would go through and I would do the thing and I would get around, get to the end. And I'll be like, I'm stuck. And I would go all the way back to the other side and all kind of stuff. Couldn't do anything. I was like, what the crap, man? And I would throw the controller again. And then my mom would go, don't you throw that stuff. I can't beat the thing. And it just put a bitter taste in my mouth. So I was a complete Nintendo fanboy. Super Nintendo,
Sega
64.
just left a bad taste in your mouth.
So
Screw Sonic.
I was wrong. I thought it was a baseball game, but no, it was a Wimbledon game, a tennis game for some reason.
Tennis game. Oh,
but no,
who remembers the Madden game? They had Joe Montana on the cover. That was such a good game. Played the crap out of it.
The other sports game I have for it is this, Tim.
Oh, that brings back some memories. NBA Jam.
He's on fire.
Dude,
he would catch on fire.
Best basketball game ever made.
Shakalaka.
From way downtown.
So let's get to Tommy. He's been patiently waiting. Tommy, tell them your
what passes is for retro for you, Tommy.
Tell them your retro game, Tommy.
Let me do a little side note because I didn't get the chance to speak. I do remember playing the side-scrolling Sonic back years ago, so that was a little fun. And then on the console I'm about to talk about, they of course had a not as fun Shadow the Hedgehog game.
Terrible.
I liked it, but it wasn't, it was living in the shadow. Anyway, as I aforementioned, I don't think I used that word right, but as I mentioned earlier, I do not find this game retro in the grand scheme of things. It's where I got my start due to my young age. But compared to the NES, the SNES, the GameCube, N64, Sega Genesis, all that, it's not retro. It's just, for me, where I got my start. And of course, if any of you know me, which none of you do, it's this pretty little gem right here, the Xbox 360, of course.
God.
I'm young, okay? Oh no, Tommy's young. Oh man, he's 19. Why could he do that to himself? As if I had control over it, okay? I wasn't there. So, where to begin? I wish Tim were here because he has some stories with this as well. My favorite thing about this, compared to its opponent, the PlayStation, is the exclusives on it. Xbox has always had, in my opinion, the better exclusive games compared to PS4 or PS3 at the time. It had Gears
What?
of War. What?
What the heck?
What?
Did I really just hear that right?
He said the Xbox has better exclusives than the PlayStation.
Well, if you count Halo,
You got Halo. You got Gears of War. You got
Gears of War, Halo, that's a decent case.
right. The best thing that the PlayStation has from PlayStation 3 to here is God of War and The Last of Us.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
God
that's
of
about
War.
it. And I was not
Uh,
impressed with God of
excuse
War.
me.
Not impressed with God of War.
Excuse me. There is a racing simulation, little known, called Gran
Gran
Turismo.
Turismo.
That is a PS exclusive, and that Xbox will never touch.
What about
So
Oddworld?
don't
Anyone
give
remember
me
that?
Felicia.
Was Tekken ever on Xbox?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Because I was about to say, I remember only playing Tekken on the PlayStation and loved it. It was great.
But anyway, carry on, Tommy. I just had to get that out of the way.
I have my opinion, okay?
It
I have
sucks,
my
but
opinion. So,
He's
just
rattled.
to throw out some facts here. Facts.
don't be muddling this discussion with facts, Tommy. You know better than that.
The Xbox 360 released on November 22nd, 2005. So I was 7 when it came out.
Oh, that is retro for you.
It's classic for me, not retro. There's a difference. Came out in 2005, so I was 7. I remember getting one. One of the first games I played was the one that came on it, and it had all like the different little mini games on it. Whatever. Discontinued 11 years later in 2016. Within that time, 80 million were sold worldwide. Actually, no, not even within that time. I'm sorry. This was as of October 17th, 2013. So 3 years before it got discontinued, it sold 80 million. So I'm guessing it sold somewhere not even close to that number within the final 3 years. The one topic I wanted to get on, though, was the dreaded, and I've never gotten it. I've never gotten it to this day, and I never plan to, the dreaded Red Ring of Death. This is what I wanted to get at. I don't know if any of you who owned an Xbox 360 got it. I know I did.
I did.
Did you?
360? I still have them. I own 2 of them.
No, the Red Ring of Death.
Oh, no. I never got the Red Ring of Death. Never got it.
I did. I got it twice.
There were 4 stages of the Red Ring of Death. There was the first, which is just one segment of it, which is nothing much. You just you basically just have to like unplug it, plug it back in, turn it off, back on, it's done. It's good. 2 segments of the ring, so a half ring is a little bit worse. You could take it to somebody. So, you could take it to somebody, they'll fix it. 4 is actually the best. It's just overheating. The one that the dreaded thing was 3 of them. When you got the 3/4 of it, it was done. It was over. It was done. People, I read online because I was so scared I was going to get it. And so people were like, if you wrap it in a towel and leave it there for like 3 hours, it'll fix it. No, uh, no,
No.
That sounds like an old wives' tale.
yeah, no. It does nothing but make an Xbox cake. Um, uh, so I got the original Xbox 360. I also had an original Xbox, and I've at one point owned all the consoles y'all are talking about except for the Sega Genesis. I don't know how to speak.
Don't know how to think either, but we don't hold that against you.
Hey, look, y'all keep me around for some reason. But so I've owned all the consoles that I talked about except for the Genesis, and I got the 360 when it came out, and there was what was the name? Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare.
Yes.
Like I said, I was 7 when this console came out, and the game came out not too long after that. And my brother is 4 years older than me, and so no wait, I'm wrong. I was 9 when we got this game. I don't know how to count. I was 9 when we got this game because he didn't live with us when I was 7. So I was 9 whenever we got this game, and I was not even allowed to be in the same room as him playing it because of how at the time advanced all the graphics were and with the amount of blood and stuff that was in it. So I wasn't even allowed to be
All
in
the
the same
blood.
room. I
Oh,
wasn't even
so
allowed to be in the
young.
same room.
Such a baby.
Y'all think I have any idea? Like I didn't tell my mom, hey, do it a little bit earlier. I didn't, from my angle, I didn't, I had to. Sorry.
Yes, no. I was looking because my Grand Theft Auto is but no. We want to stay monetized on Opinionated Geeks. We do not talk about that. Stop it.
Well, that's the end of my
Get back
segment,
to talking
everybody.
about the game.
Oh
Get
my
back to
god.
talking about the game, Tommy.
Oh my god.
Well, this has been Tommy with Opinionated Geeks. This is my last episode ever, and I'll see y'all
You're
later.
fired, Tommy. You're fired.
You have made Josh Stockett walk off the set.
Oh god.
Why is it, Tommy, that you do this?
it just comes out naturally, man.
Really quick, my
But-
Xbox 360. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
To talk about the accessories that came with it, because it did come with accessories. We're going to talk about only one of the accessories because it did set a record in the world. We're going to talk about the Kinect, which was very, very glitchy when it first came out. I remember. My favorite thing was that some games that came out before the Kinect ended up adding Kinect availability. Can't think of the word. It's not availability.
Compatibility.
Compatibility.
Compatibility. Oh my god, Tommy.
It ended up becoming compatible with the Kinect, and I went to the midnight release for Skyrim back in 2011. It's still one of my favorite games. You could it ended up being compatible with the NES where you could say the dragon shouts through the Kinect and it'll use it. It was pretty cool. That's how I learned the little bit of dragon tongue that I know. That was not the nerdiest thing I've said in my life either.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Conception and Dragon Tongue.
Oh my god, for the love of God. Okay. A little side note about the Xbox 360. I owe my marriage to the Xbox 360, and here's how. While I was stationed at Fort Bragg, yes, I was in the Army, all that good stuff. And while I was there, Lauren and I reconnected. We had known each other since high school, and we had reconnected. And we both really loved playing Gears of War 3. And there was many a night where we were playing where we would be cussing each other out one moment and then taking it all back and begging for the other to revive us. And that is how we fell in love. That was where it was at. I know, such a sweet story. But yes, that is how Lauren got saddled with me.
Speaking of love stories, the Xbox 360 is how I fell in love with the Elder Scrolls series, which is my favorite game series. I've played Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim.
I love
Six
Morrowind.
coming
Oh
out.
man, Morrowind is so good.
I've played Elder Scrolls Online. Not the best. I played all the little ones like Breton and Redguard, Blood Moon. I went. For those of you who don't know, I used to live in Mississippi. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I met
I
you.
moved to Mississippi from Alabama when I was 10 years old. When I lived in Alabama the first time, my cousin had an Xbox 360, and so he would be in my aunt, his mom's lower, basically not a basement, but like a lower den. Basically, it was a den. He was in the den and had the Xbox hooked up, and I would sit next to him and watch him play. Yes, play Oblivion, and that was the last I thought of that. Fast forward a few years later, my mom at the time had this boyfriend named James, and James had an Xbox 360 as well. He started playing Oblivion, and I thought back to that time, and I said, "Can I play?" And he said, "Sure," and I fell in love. Same thing with Fallout, which is my second favorite. Played all of those as well. Um, so that's my love story with the 360. Is that not only did it let me fall in love with video games, but it also helped me fall in love with my two favorite series of all time. And that's all I have to. Oh no, I didn't say my Connect thing. Um.
ADD
Oh,
much?
yeah. My Connect thing was that the Xbox 360 Connect has the world record for the fastest selling electronic hardware for video games. So there's that. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you for tuning in.
I didn't own an Xbox because I had PlayStation. I picked the PlayStation 3 over the Xbox, or
Yep.
PlayStation 2 over the Xbox. Maybe I think Xbox come in. Did Xbox come in between those two systems? Not sure.
It was
Anyway,
made to compete with PlayStation.
okay. Well, anyway, I picked Sony over Xbox, but I ended up owning an Xbox, and I um actually ended up selling my Xbox. Had like 30 games with it. Sold it. Didn't have anything. Went back to PlayStation 3. Got one really really cheap, and then I gave up my PlayStation 3. Funny story. I gave up my PlayStation 3 because I wanted to give up video games altogether, and got
Try as
really
you may.
bored. Do what?
Try as you may.
Yeah, got really bored. It took me about a year, and I got bored because I don't sleep at night, and I ended up getting another Xbox 360, and yeah, I mean I've had the Xbox 360 twice. Um, really, there were some good games. I bought the Xbox 360 after I got rid of the PS2 or PS3 or whichever one I had. Um, I got rid of it for one game, and that game was not Halo. That game was Gears of War, and
So good.
it was they were so good. The
So
Gears
good.
of War series is absolutely amazing. Personally, I think they're better than Halo. I didn't get in the Halo fad, so
I'm with you on Gears of War being better than Halo.
yeah, I didn't get in
I,
the Halo fad. I just didn't do it.
but I will say this though, as far as the Gears of War franchise is concerned, Gears of War 3 was a really good one. I didn't like Judgment. Gears of War 4 I have yet to get because I don't own an Xbox One yet.
Same. Um, but the Xbox 360 was solid. I did get the Red Ring of Death, not once but twice. Actually, just got the one ring or the one thing on the second one, and I ended up giving that system to a friend of mine. But he played it until he got his PS4. Um, but the first system, really good titles. Um, can't say it was my favorite system, by far. Um, but yeah, the Xbox 360 was a good quality system, and I do consider it a classic. It's not retro yet, uh, to me, but I think it is a classic. for what it is. But real quick, before we end the show, I got to give a shout out to the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
Dreamcast tried and they failed. PlayStation persevered.
Dreamcast killed Sega. Let's face it. Dreamcast ended it.
To answer your question, the PS2 came out in 2000. The original Xbox came out in 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's PS2 versus Xbox.
Mhm.
The Xbox,
and it's been that
probably
way ever
won that.
since. And it's been
The
that
Xbox
way
may
ever
have won
since.
it.
Yeah.
I feel like the Xbox may have won that between the PS. As far as sales go, I may be totally off. I'm a Sony fanboy now.
Let's see. PS2 did. Sure, I'm looking at this correct. 155 million.
Holy crap!
That was as of March 2012. I don't. And this is not giving me a number. Hold on. Let me actually go to the main console. And the original Xbox has done. Really? As of May, this is only as of May 10th, 2006, 24 million.
Oh wow! So the PS4
Wow.
wiped. I mean, the PS2 wiped the Xbox off the map. Surprising.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of surprising to me. But yeah, I mean,
Xbox redeemed themselves with the 360 though.
they did. They just had the problems with the Red Ring of Death. And just to give a quick shout out to the PlayStation, I'll never forget. I got the PlayStation for my birthday, and I'll never forget putting in. I know y'all are gonna make fun of me on all this, but putting in NASCAR '98. I think it was NASCAR '98. Putting in NASCAR '98. Yeah, I can't help it. Putting in NASCAR '98 and the intro playing was so cool because it was like real life, like they took real footage. And then I'll never forget sitting in my dad's bedroom where we hooked it up at and putting in the game and seeing all the different cars. She said Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon. And we got on the track, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and my dad was just like blew his mind. He was like, "Wow, this looks so real." Like for PlayStation 1, he's like, "Man, this looks so real. I can't believe they're doing games like this."
No, my family's a NASCAR fan, so we had some of the NASCAR games. My brother would play them, of course. He being the better racer and all that, always do better than I would. I would play, get frustrated, and instead of just rage quitting, I'll go around the track backwards and purposely wreck everyone.
Yeah, I've done that several times.
My fondest memory with the PlayStation 1, for those who don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Crash Bandicoot series. Always have been. And I actually just pre-ordered, not just, but I have pre-ordered the Insane Trilogy, the remastered coming out. This is going to be a very old statement by these 4 words I'm about to say. My dad and I would play Crash Bandicoot Racing, Insane Racing, or whatever the name was. My sister also, but it was mainly my dad and I. My dad and I would play the Crash Bandicoot Racing game together. So that's my best memory of PlayStation 1. And my sister and I also had a Rugrats game.
Well, that's disappointing.
No, okay. Favorite PlayStation memory? Original PlayStation? Metal Gear Solid.
Ooh, yes.
Boy.
2-disc. Oh, fighting Psycho Mantis. Having to unplug from controller slot 1 and plug into controller slot 2 just to beat him. Wow. Talk about being out there and being unique in how to defeat a villain.
And he would make fun of you too. If you had was another particular game, if you had that, he would it would read the memory card and he would make fun of you.
Read the memory card. He would make fun of you. He would, if you died too many times, has saved too often. He'd make fun of all of that.
That was
and then, of course, what was really great was that there was a later game. I think it was Metal Gear Solid. I think it was Sons of Liberty. That there's a point in the game where you run into Psychomanth again. But it's his ghost more or less, and he tries to read your mind again. But since the controller's now wireless, everything's internal. There is no more memory card. He can't read your mind, and it freaks him out.
That's crazy. Yeah, like there were so many good games. Tomb Raider. That's the first where we had the triangle boobies.
Triangle boobs.
Never forget my
Lara
mom.
Croft.
Lara Croft.
Boops.
Whoa.
My
Tomb Raider?
mom was
We
like,
talking about Tomb Raider
my
now?
mom told me I could not have that game because of triangle boobs. I couldn't have the Tomb Raider game. I had a demo of it, and I couldn't buy it.
I did too.
Because of it. So there's that. But anyway, that was all of our memories thrown into it. Pretty much every console. I know we picked a different one, but we pretty much talked about every console.
We have memories of all of them.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. This is Joshua Stockett. That's Joshua Stockett. The camera's not going over there. Then you got Tim Bramley. And then you got Tommy Holiday.
Tommy Holiday and the Balrog. Can't forget the Balrog.
He just had to do it, man.
He
just had to do it.
Look how pretty he is!
So Kevin, what are we talking about next week?
Will Wonder Woman save the DCEU?
And we'll just talk about DC movies in general.
And will fidget spinners finally be eradicated?
Nope.
Find out next week on Opinionated Geeks. Hurrah!
And Tommy's gone. So, we're going to talk about the DCEU, and then we're also going to talk about something that we people, two being Joshua and Tim, they have totally different opinions on one thing than what me and probably Tommy does.
This will be a 2v2. This will be a 2v2 discussion for sure.
So we have different opinions on that. So check us out next week. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Remember, just because it's a video doesn't mean you have to watch us. Plug in and hide our faces and listen to us.
And if you subscribe, don't forget to click the little bell next to it so you can be notified when we post new stuff.
Yes. Because you want to see us. You want to see us. I'm telling you.
No, you want to hear us, not necessarily see us.
Yeah.
Look at the beard. Look at that beard. Dude, you can't stop looking at it.
That is a face only a mother could love, and even then, it's a stretch.
That's a face only a stepfather could love.
It's the beard. So anyway, y'all have fun. Follow us on Twitter, 3OP Geeks. Find us on Facebook, all that good stuff. We're going to go play some PlayStation 4. You guys have an awesome night.
Bye-bye.
I love you. I love you.